So, as the dog days of summer come to an end for all of us and our kids are back in school, just getting back in the routine as kids can suffer from just being sleepy, snoring, night terrors, and nightmares can also affect kids at night. Pediatrician Dr. Kristen Woodward is here to discuss and help us make sure our kids are well rested this school year. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Kendall.
So, I'm so curious about this as well because I have a 13-year-old, so I'm curious just how much do kids need, and is there a breakdown in terms of the different age groups?
Yeah, it actually just depends on their age. Kids in preschool need about 12 hours of sleep. Kids in elementary and middle school need about 10 hours of sleep. And kids in high school need 8 to 9 hours of sleep each night.
Okay, very good. So, and this is always an issue, I know, for so many of us, but when do you shut off the electronics and the digital information?
Well, we really recommend that you turn off all electronics and screens about 1 hour before you start getting ready for bed. That's because looking at a bright screen, whether it be the TV screen or the iPad, can actually decrease the release of melatonin, which regulates the sleep-wake cycle. Also, if kids are playing video games, that activates the fight or flight response. So we know that kids who are playing video games, they're very stressed out, their heart rates are high, and they even have a high blood pressure.
So I know even my 13-year-old was complaining of having trouble sleeping and said, Mom, is there anything that you can do to help me? Is there anything I can do to help her as a parent?
Well, I think that's a great question because, we see problems with sleep through, we often think of it in infancy, but we see kids of all ages having trouble sleeping. And so really the most important thing is coming down with a routine, a bedtime routine, even at the age of 13. So the most important thing is consistency. You want to start at the same time each night. The routine shouldn't last longer than 30 minutes. Making sure the lights are dim in your child's room, that they're not doing any strenuous activity, in those 30 minutes, and that should really help out with him being able to sleep better.
And so, do you ever give your child melatonin or some of these natural supplements that kind of help have a child fall asleep?
Well, I would talk to your pediatrician first before giving any child any supplement. Melatonin has been used in adults. And whether or not it would be something that would be appropriate for your child, I would have you speak with your pediatrician first before recommending herbal supplements.
Okay, very good. And what about snoring? Occasionally, I hear my daughter even snore a little bit. Is that something I should be watchful?
Absolutely, snoring, especially chronic snoring. So this has lasted more than a couple of months. Would be something that you'd want to talk to your pediatrician about. It can mean that your child may have sleep apnea. And what that means is the obstruction to airflow is so great that your child stops breathing, and it's not until their blood oxygen level falls so much that it wakes them up. So they are chronically tired. They have problems with behavior, attention, and even overall school performance. A number of reasons can cause snoring, and sometimes large tonsils, adenoids, and even enlarged nasal turbinates may cause a child to snore. But if it's just once on an occasion when they have a cold, then it's not such a problem. But if you feel like it's been going on for several months, then I would talk to your pediatrician.
All right. I know too the things on tape. Is that helpful to whether it be calming music or affirmations or meditations, things like this? You hear all about all the things people are trying to help their children fall asleep. Do any of those things work?
If it is something that's helping them get a better night's sleep, then I think that's completely reasonable. As long as they have their dim lights in the room and you follow a routine that is consistent, then I think that's just fine.
Okay. Well, I think your fans are calling your name right now, so thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.